Hello everyone, my name is CROISS4NT, and while I'm sitting here waiting for the accumulation of enough wealth, the up of more money to pay my editor to edit a video, I thought I might as well do another episode of reading a story from this book. And I have the lights on now. My power went out yesterday. Alright. So, this is the Golden Fleece from the Argonauts, I think. And without further ado, here we go. The old Hellens said that the Golden Fleece hung in Colchis, which we call the Cirician coast, nailed to a beech tree in the war god's wood, and that it was the fleece of the wondrous ram who bore Phrixus and Hell across the Euxine Sea. For Phrixus and Hell were the children of the cloud nymph, and of Athamas the Minon king, and when a famine came upon the land, their cruel stepmother Ino wished to kill them, that her own children might reign, and said they must be sacrificed on an altar to turn away the anger of the gods. So the poor children were brought to the altar, and the priest stood ready with his knife, when out of the woods came the golden ram, and took them on his back, and vanished. He carried the children far away over land and sea, till he came to the Thracian Chersonese, and Hell fell into the sea. So those narrow straits are called Hell's Point after her, and they bear that name until this day. This book was released in, I believe, somewhere around 1912, so I don't know about the legitimacy of that claim in 2021. Then the ram flew on with Phrixus to the northeast, across the sea which we call the Black Sea now, but the Hellens call it Euxine. And at last, they say, he stopped at Colchis on the steep Cirician coast, and there Phrixus married Chalciope, the daughter of Ides the king. There are a whole bunch of names that I'm sure I'm butchering, but it's a mythology video from an adolescent with 91 subscribers, so I'm not sure many people are gonna care. Where was I? And there, wait. The daughter of Ides the king, and offered the ram in sacrifice. And Ides nailed the ram's fleece to a beech, in the grove of Ares the war god. And after a while Phrixus died, and was buried, but his spirit had no rest, for he was buried far from his native land and the pleasant hills of Hellas. So he came in dreams to the heroes of the Minai, and called sadly by their beds, "Come and set my spirit free, that I may go home to my fathers and to my kinfolk and the pleasant Minon land." And they asked, "How shall we set your spirit free?" "You must sail over to Colchis and bring home the Golden Fleece, and then my spirit will come back with it, and I shall sleep with my fathers and have rest." He came thus, and called to them often. But when they woke they looked at each other, and said, "Who dare sail to Colchis, or bring home the Golden Fleece?" And in all the country none was brave enough to try it, for the man and time were not come. Old-timey grammar is weird. I'm not, like, missaying this. This is just actually what's in this book. Okay. Fuck, where was I? Oh, yes. At last Jason was tricked by his uncle, Pelias, who was jealous of him and thought to get rid of him thus, into promising to undertake the quest of the fleece. So the heralds went out, and cried to all the heroes of the Minai, "Who dare come to the adventure of the Golden Fleece?" And Hera stirred the hearts of all the princesses, and they came from all their valleys to the yellow sands of Pagasai. And first came Heracles the mighty, with his lion's skin and club, and behind him Hylas, his young squire, who bore his arrows and his bow, and Tiphys, the skilful steersman, and Butes, the fairest of all men, and Castor and Polydeuces, the twins, the son of the magic swan, and Canis, the strongest of mortals, whom the centaurs tried in vain to kill, and overwhelmed him with trunks of pine trees, but even so he would not die. And thither came Zetes and Calais, the winged sons of the north wind, and Peleus, the father of Achilles, whose bride was silver-footed Thetis, the god of the sea. And thither came Telamon and Olaus, the fathers of the two Aintes, who fought upon the plains of Troy, and Mopsus, the wise soothsayer, who knew the speech of the birds, and Idmon, to whom Phoebus gave a tongue to prophecy of things to come, and Anchias, who could read the stars, and knew all the circles of the heavens, and Argus, the famed shipbuilder, and many a hero more, in helmets of brass and gold, with tall dyed horsehair crests, and embroidered shirts of linen beneath their coats of mail, and greaves of polished tin to guard the knees in fight, with each man his shield upon his shoulder, of many a fold of tough bull's hide, and his sword of tempered bronze in a silver-studded belt, and his right hand a pair of lances of the heavy white ash staves. So they came down to Iolcus, and all the city came out to meet them, and they were never tired with looking at their height and their beauty and their gallant bearing, and the glitter of their inlaid arms. And some said, never was such a gathering of the heroes since the Hellens conquered the land. But the women sighed over them and whispered, alas, they are all going to their death. And then the next thing is the building of Argo, which I will cover in the next video. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed classical story time with Croissant. Have an amazing day, or maybe night, I don't really know or care. Whatever you're doing right now, have fun doing it. Bye bye.